Eating with your hands versus utensils. Which one does your body actually prefer? For 300 years, the fork has had a monopoly on your mouth. Eating with your hands versus utensils. Which one does your body actually prefer? For 300 years, the fork has had a monopoly on your mouth. And somewhere along the way, we all quietly agreed. Eating with your hands is primitive, unhygienic, something to grow out of. Except, over 60% of the world's population eats with their hands every single day. India, the Middle East, Africa, Southeast Asia. Not because they lack options, because something about it genuinely works. And when I looked at what science says about what happens inside your body when you eat with your hands versus a utensil, I did not expect what I found. So, your fingertips contain roughly 2,500 touch receptors per square centimeter. The moment your hand makes contact with food, those receptors fire signals directly to your brain, and your body immediately begins producing saliva, stomach acid, and digestive enzymes before the food even reaches your mouth. Scientists call it the cephalic phase digestive response. Your gut gets a head start. It primes itself. That entire process is almost completely absent when you pick up a fork. Your fork has been quietly skipping the warm-up this whole time, every single meal. Here's the part most people never consider. Your brain takes approximately 20 minutes to register that you're full, controlled by hormones called leptin and ghrelin. And a fork makes you eat fast. Studies found that fast eaters consume up to 88 more calories per meal than slow eaters. Not occasionally, consistently. Every meal, compounding across months and years. Eating with your hands naturally slows that process down. Smaller portions, more conscious contact with every bite, and your brain finally gets the time it actually needs to catch up with your stomach. Turns out the most effective portion control tool cost nothing and came factory installed. There is a psychological layer here that the research calls sensory-specific satiety. The more sensory information your brain receives about food, the more satisfied you feel, with less. When you eat with your hands, you're already processing texture, temperature, and portion size through touch before it reaches your taste buds. That multisensory engagement is directly linked to reduced overeating, lower rates of binge eating behavior, and a genuinely stronger mind-body connection around food. Studies on mindful eating consistently show it improves digestion and builds a better long-term relationship with what you eat. You were doing mindful eating before mindful eating had a name. Now, the hygiene argument. Research published in microbiology journals found that a properly washed hand carries minimal bacterial load, often comparable to or lower than inadequately cleaned forks in standard household settings. Restaurant forks have been found to carry E. coli and Staphylococcus in multiple food safety studies. The variable was never hands versus a fork. It was always cleanliness. A properly washed hand is not a health risk. It genuinely never was. The fork was never cleaner. It just looked cleaner. To be clear, a fork is not the enemy. For soups, extremely hot foods, or situations where hand washing simply isn't possible, it is the practical and right choice. But for everyday meals eaten at home, the science suggests your hands support better digestion, slower and more mindful eating, earlier activation of your digestive system, and greater satisfaction from the same amount of food. 60% of the world already figured this out. The research is just now catching up to explain why. Which brings everything back to the one condition that makes all of this work, and this is completely non-negotiable. Soap, warm water, 20 seconds, every single time before you eat. Not a quick rinse, a real wash. That one habit is the entire difference between the science and the risk. So, wash your hands properly, and they may be the most effective eating tool you own. No batteries, no dishwasher cycle. Available since birth, completely free, and quietly superior to the fork in more ways than anyone thought to measure.